The only reason Islamic nations haven't dominated the world is because they still have people who secretly don't believe, or who secretly worship other gods. And just like God has always done to the Jews, because they also intermix with the faithless, as He doesn't pour out His full blessings on them. From now on, all people and nations that intermix with the faithless will receive God's wrath. You are to completely separate from those that are in rebellion to God. Actually, I appreciate the theocratic form of government of the Islamic nations over the democratic form of government of secular nations, because at least they are trying to please God. Democracy doesn't do anything to please God. All democracy does is try to please man. Actually, it's the Islamic nations devoted to God, that will make up all of God's kingdom. All I need to do is get the present ones to accept the divine truth that we are God's children, and get them to expel those that don't believe. At the same time, I need the democratic nations to also expel those that don't believe, so they actually will become nations that are devoted to God also. Those that are expelled will go to the lake of fire, which is areas of the world that absolutely refuse to follow God. The believers in the areas that refuse to cooperate are commanded to leave those areas and go to areas that do. You cannot be a son of democracy and a son of God if you want to be saved. Only the sons of God shall enter the promised land. What were the sons of democracy saving? It sure wasn't the kingdom of God. Those that have helped spread democracy are owed a debt that we should never repay. To everyone who ever said I wasn't responsible, I was just waiting for the ultimate responsibility. I want you to feel demoralized. I want you to feel faint from the lack of strength caused by the terror of having to face us. It doesn't matter how good at military strategy you are, hardly none of it applies to this spiritual war. Let me show you spiritual strategy. What you do is let those who would oppose you know they are fighting Jesus and rebelling against God. Let those who are for Jesus know you are Jesus. And let those who are in the middle know they need to start praying, because God will count them with His enemies. Democracies are in the middle, and they need to get on their knees and start praying, because I am going to tear them apart. First, because those in a democracy have a choice to do what they want, and of those choices, one of them is to not be part of it. The children of God are being called out of that demonized society to be part of God's kingdom. If you don't think that democracy is full of demons, then you are blind. Let me open your eyes. Killing babies is allowed if people decide that abortion is okay. Homosexuality, which is an abomination, is allowed. People have the right to worship Satan if they want. Greed is encouraged. What causes people to do those things is demon spirits. This is what you have been fighting for. This is what you have been spreading around the world. These are the rights you claim. And God no longer wants His children to be part of it. Since you refuse to get rid of your demons, He has no choice but to save His children by leading them out of you, so that they will not be dragged to hell with you. Jews, I'm going to show you how to really share the wealth. Your Constitution may say that no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification for office, but ours doesn't. In fact, that is the only real test we have. I bring a charge against the government of the United States of not allowing the free exercise of religion. If our political party wants to be based on faith in God, you cannot deny that. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, but people can. They can assemble however they want if done peaceably. They can also assemble to overthrow a government if the grievances against a government are not addressed to their satisfaction. The Constitution was written so that the government could not stop us from becoming a religious society. But that is exactly what those who are opposed to religion have been using it for. The Constitution says Congress may not make any law for, but it must also not prohibit. The Constitution says Congress shall make no law to establish a religion, but technically they can establish a religion without making it a law. Saying Congress cannot establish a religion is actually prohibiting the free exercise of religion. The Congress may not have the power to establish a religion, but the people do. It is the only real power, and that is why it was not delegated to Congress. We are about to exercise that power. If you're worried about losing your job in Congress because people may accuse you of engaging in an insurrection or rebellion if you change your political party to the Theocratic Party, all I can say is that it's better to lose your job than it is to lose your place in heaven. This is not an insurrection, this is a resurrection. The writers of the Constitution intended insurrection and rebellion to refer to foreign enemies. It's not supposed to be used against the people as a whole wanting to change things. If the government uses it against the people's wishes, then it is the government who is rebelling against the people, and they should be removed. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say democracy or separation of church and state. The Catholic Church has done more positive things for the world than any other group. Please don't mess up now, because this is what you have been waiting for.